Everest base camp trekking is one of the famous destinations in Nepal for sure. And to start this trek, normally we start from Kathmandu. There is only one international airport in Nepal, that's Kathmandu. But now there are two other major airports in Pokhara and in Nepalganj as well. There is one in Lumbini, that's close to birthplace of Buddha, Lumbini, and you can fly either of those, and from there you can take a flight to Lukla, and then that's normally how you start. Trek from Lukla, go to Everest Base Camp, and come back to Lukla and fly back. But there is another option of doing the same trek overland. So in this case, what we will do is we'll take a bus from Kathmandu to the trekking start point. That can be either Surkhe, close to Surkhe, not exactly Surkhe, but close to Surkhe, or you can drive to Salleri and start trekking from there, or you can drive to Jiri, where you can start trek from Jiri as well. So if you start trekking from Jiri, some people nowadays start from Bandar or from Sivalai, but if you start trekking from Jiri, that's basically you are following one of the very old trekking trail to go to Everest Base Camp. I remember when I was maybe around 10, 11, maybe even smaller than that. When I was 10 years or 11 years at the time, like there used to be like huge, like chunk of people, like lots of people in Jiri to start trekking to Everest Base Camp. That's pretty famous, and people still do it. But nowadays, in comparison to people trekking from Lukla to base camp and coming back to Lukla to fly back to Kathmandu, in comparison to that trend of Everest Base Camp trip, the longer version from Jiri to Everest Base Camp is not that famous. But however, there are like three options from Jiri, and flying to Lukla and starting trek from there is obviously one of the famous options. And for the trek, in this video, let's talk about trekking that starts from Lukla and ends at Lukla. So the flight is basically 22 to 25 minutes. So it is a small plane with 14 people, and it's literally a small plane. And the fun thing or the adventure that you will have in this plane is when you fly from Kathmandu to Lukla in that duration of 20 to 25 minutes. Like there are lots of air turbulence, so there are some situations where you will be flying and at the place where you will get to a place called Lamjura that comes along a trekking trail if you trek overland. I mean, do a Everest Base Camp trek overland. In that case, so when we start trek from Lukla, after 20 minutes of full of turbulence flight, that's what we're talking about. If you are flying, once you get on the top of Lukla, Lamjura, what happens is there is a huge change in the air pressure. And then once you cross the hill of Lamjura, you will be like boom, like you will just free float for a while, like it's like a free fall. And I mean, it happens most of the time. It happened to me a lot of times, so that's what I'm saying it from. And once you get to Lukla, that's where you will start to be in the like chilly weather of the mountain, chilly weather of Everest. But before that, you will see the mountains. You will be like basically when you take off from Lukla. Take off from Kathmandu airport. You will be flying on the side of the mountains, above the cloud, inside the cloud, and there are like lots of green mountains. But also you will see many white mountains, and it's a very nice flight. It's a short but very entertaining flight. But yeah, it's thrilling because of the small plane and the turbulence in the mountains. That's very obvious. And apart from that, it's very beautiful. Actually, if you are in the cockpit, you will be able to see Everest on the way to Lukla flight. Normally, if you fly to Lukla from helicopter, you can see you can see Everest. The helicopter pilot can for people who does this Everest Base Camp helicopter trek or Everest luxury tour or one-day tour to fly to see the Everest. Those people can see from the cockpit because it's possible to see from helicopter than from plane, right? So and okay, once you land to Lukla, you will be landing right in front of the Karulang mountain, and the name of the mountain. That mountain is actually like really iconic, like a good mountain. And but whenever I see a mountain in here, that's the white snow-capped mountains, because in Nepal nobody says it is a mountain unless it has snow on top of it. If it doesn't have snow, then that's hill, that's not a mountain. And once we get to Lukla, from there we will start our trek, and as a guided trip we will have a breakfast there. And when we are having a breakfast, it's a nice time to catch up the plains scenery and the mountains around the scenery of the small Tenzing Hillary airport. And lots of trekkers on their move to go to Everest Base Camp. Some of them are really excited. You can see people shooting videos and taking lots of photos. But actually, you're talking about the photos like the first 1 week, let's say first 2-3 days is when you want to take a lot of pictures, and then that's when people take a lot of pictures and they drain the battery and they run out of the batteries when they get in the real place. Like for example, when they get to Everest Base Camp or close and they don't have batteries and they need to charge, and to charge your batteries up there you have to pay a fair amount. I mean, $2 to $5 per hour to charge the batteries for your phone or for camera or whatever. And then from Lukla, the trail from Lukla to Phakding is like 2 hours to 3 hours. It goes downhill. There are lots of steps we will be walking on, and we will walk along, like we walk across the rivers and along a big river called Dutkosi. Dutkosi is one of the huge, like one of the biggest river, and we will be following this trail for 2 to 3 days until we get to Namche and around Namche as well. And Kathmandu to Lukla to Phakding is 1 day, and we stay 1 night in Phakding. Phakding is a small village. Actually, it's interesting that Lukla you land at the altitude of 2,880 meters, and then when you go down to Phakding is like 2,600 meters. So basically, it's going downhill. But when we say downhill, it's not actually downhill, because you need to climb up and down, because you know it's mountain, right? So you climb for like maybe 50 meters up and then go down to 100 meters, and you climb another 50 meters and go down to 20 meters. So that's how it works to get from Lukla to Phakding and stay overnight there. Accommodation in Lukla is good, but don't expect the same kind of accommodation in Phakding, because it's a small village. The accommodation is basic there, but it's nice. Phakding is right close to the river, Dutkosi River, that I was mentioning earlier. We will just stay overnight in Riverside Hotel, Riverside guest house, Riverside tea house, whatever you say. And Phakding has some pubs if you like to go drink and play some games. Play some snooker or pool, and meet other trekkers on the way. And after spending night at Phakding, we start a major hike of the next day. That's a full day hike. It takes around roughly 6 to 9 hours. I'm telling 6 to 9 is because for fit people it's 6 to 8 hours. For some people it might take even 10 hours if you walk slow, because that's a long stretch of walk from Phakding 26 to 3,400 meters to Namche, and that walk will take you across 5 bridges, 5 suspension bridges, and all those 5 suspension bridges will be on the same river. That's pretty interesting. So basically what we do is, if it's a river, we walk from this way and then get on the other side, come back, go back. It's like a back and forth on the same river. And then once we get to the highest, like high altitude breeze, that's quite a gain, and it's a beautiful place as well. And after 20 minutes of getting to that breeze, you will get to a viewpoint of Everest, Mount Everest. That's called Durpin Dara. That Durpin Dara, like Durpin is binocular, so Dara is hill, so it's like a binocular hill. That's what you can say, and from there you'll see a window view of Everest. But normally by the time we get there, it's afternoon, and in afternoon the mountains are cloudy, like covered with clouds. So it's not sure and certain that you will see that mountain from that hill. I mean, not the Everest, but yeah, the mountain you might as well see. And once you get to Namche, Namche is a happening small town in the lap of Himalaya, right in front of Khumjung. Khumjung is a beautiful mountain. It's basically like there is Khumjung, and here is, like, I'm just looking at Khumjung right now. If it is Namche, if I'm in Namche, this will be Khumjung right in front of me. And it is a nice, nice small town with pubs. Like there is Iris pub, that's what they call the highest altitude Iris pub. And then there are like a bunch of bakeries. There is like it's not a dance club, but it's some places like Irish pub itself has a dancing floor, so you can just go dance there if you like to do that. But that's normally that normally is the thing that you do when you come back after the trek. So Namche is at 3,440 meters above sea level. That means above 3,000 meters there will be one acclimatization. So this is the place where Namche is the place where many people does acclimatization, and we do, like Nepalgram does acclimatization in this altitude. And for the acclimatization, what we do is we stay 2 nights in Namche. One night, the night we trek from Phakding to Namche, that's the one night. That's basically resting. And the second night is and the day we hike around. We go to Everest viewpoint. That can be as close as 20 minutes walk, or as far as like 4 hours walk. So it's the choice. That guide can give you insight on where to go, looking at your physical condition, like your well-being, how you feel. Guide can help you on choosing the right place for you. But the intent of doing an acclimatization hike at Namche is you climb up to a certain height, and then after you get down to Namche, and your body acclimatize for the high altitude. So it's the rule of climbing mountains, right? So what we do is, in general, from Namche at 3,400 meters, we climb all the way to Everest View Hotel to 3,000, close to 900 meters. That's like 3,900, deducting 3,400. It's around, we climb around 500 meters, and after climbing up 500 meters, you come down and you stay at the hotel, sleep at the same hotel at Namche. That gives you a good acclimatization break for your body. And after staying 2 nights in Namche, we trek to Tengboche. Like Tengboche is a short hike. It's like 4 to 6 hours of hiking. And this hike is like, in the beginning, you will walk on a very nice trail on the way. I'm not sure if that guy is still alive, but there is this guy who is a Sherpa, who worked in the region as porter, and then he was really tossed by the trail's misery, and he decided to dedicate his life to make that trail beautiful. To make that trail easier for the porters, I would say. And then from there, from Namche, when you start, you will be walking on that man's trail. I forgot his name. I think his name is Kazi or something. Yeah, in Kazi's trail, you will be walking for like maybe good 2 hours. It's very nice. Actually, you can take a mountain bike. I would say you can drive a small car as well. That's how good it is. and from there you walk for 2 hours, and then you get to a village called Kangjuma. And once you get to Kangjuma is such a great village to see the view of Amadablam. You will be in love. Like Amadablam is will be your love on this day. From Namche, right after 20 minutes of walk from Namche, you will see this mountain, really iconic mountain, Mount Amadablam, and from there you will just following it until you get really close at Tengboche. So among all of it, Kangjuma village is one of the best place to get the close and beautiful view before Tengboche. So Kangjuma, I would recommend you stay there for a tea break, like have a cup of tea, and then just to give some relaxation to your muscles, and then after that it's going downhill. So once you go downhill, it is nice. That walk is nice as well, because it is nice in the sense that it has a like peaceful environment, and you will be going towards the river. Going downhill to get to the river, and that's Funkitanga. And from Funkitanga you have a lunch. There are like just 2 or 3 places where you can have lunch in Funkitanga, and from there you start climbing up to Tengboche. To climb Tengboche, that's a good 2 to 3 hours. I would say 2 hours. You can take it 3 hours, 2 to 3 hours of good uphill walking from Funkitanga to Tengboche. And once you get to Tengboche, and again, it's really close to the warmth of, let's say, chilliness of the mountains, and it's very beautiful. You will be able to see. You will be able to see Everest View Hotel if you look back from Tengboche, and if you look in the front, it's Everest. You will be able to see Everest. Everest, Lhotse, and beautiful Amadablam will be right in front of you. And very good thing about Tengboche is Tengboche Monastery. So the monastery on the top of this hill, Tengboche, it's called Tengboche Monastery, and it's really beautiful. And you will spend one night in Tengboche Monastery. There is a bakery there. If you want to go to the bakery, you can just visit the bakery there. And apart from that, for the people who do Everest panorama view trekking, that's the last point. Tengboche is the last point. And from Tengboche, we hike up like another 800 to 1,000 meters. Like that's basically behind, like on the hill of where Tengboche stands. There is a walking trail that takes us to a Mani wall, like up above Tengboche, roughly 800 to 1,000 meters high from there, and it takes around 3-4 hours, I would say, back and forth. And from there, it's a magnificent view of entire valley of Tengboche, and the valley of Khumbu Glacier, like Khumbu Valley, that's entirely, I would say, Khumbu Valley, and Everest, obviously. You will see like Everest, and Amadablam will look like really close to you as well. It's a nice trek. So if you have a short time frame, if you are looking for a quick, very fast way to see Everest, but still with trekking, not by using helicopter or anything, then this is the best trek. Everest View trek is the best trek for you. And after it is, after Tengboche, we start taking the same trail way back to Lukla. For that, you stop one night at Namche again, and then from Namche you go to Lukla on one go, and the next day you can fly to Kathmandu. If you don't want to take flight, there is option you walk for like 2 more days and get to a jeep station, and from jeep station you can take jeep and go and drive back to Kathmandu. But flying back, I would say, flying back is one of the best idea to conclude this short Everest panorama view trekking.